My name's Tony. I think I've seen you before. I'm a licensed dietitian and a personal trainer, and I help people eat well, stay fit, and healthy. And today I'm going to share with you guys one of my methods for food preparation. When it comes to eating healthy, I have 3 rules: delicious, nutritious, convenient. If it's not all 3 of those things, it won't fit into your diet. So you can have something that's mine, you just set it aside. You can have something that's like really healthy, like quinoa, but if you get home at 8 in the evening and you don't want to cook it, or you don't want to make a London broil or something like that, obviously it's not going to end up on your plate. People sometimes don't even like fast food that much. The reason why we do is because it's easy, it's fast, and it just makes the hunger go away. Hunger is the cousin of pain. Most people don't have a high tolerance for it. Okay? So how can we get around that? Well, there's different methods of prepping food ahead of time. One is of course just dining out. I mean, that would be a plan, and that's good to do once in a while. But we don't control the nutrients, we don't control the calories over what we eat. The other thing is to use convenience foods. So they have places like MyFitFoods. If you go get like the sushi rolls and take all the individually packed things, convenience items. Those work, but that gets really expensive. You can do that as well too, but what I find you should do the majority of what you do if you want to prep ahead is to do, for myself, which is really quick and easy, is I'll make flatbread pizzas. So we actually have a legitimate pizza crust here today, which is awesome. It would probably taste better. But have you guys ever seen the flat out sandwich for the wraps? Like a lavash or a flatbread that you would make like a sandwich wrap, or you get Chick-fil-A if you got chicken wrap. I'll use those to make pizzas, and they're only 100 calories. You can toast them in the oven, and you can put your cheese, your sauce on it, and whatever toppings you like. And you can usually eat a whole pizza to yourself for around 400 or 500 calories, which is pretty easy. Throughout the day, getting something from all of the food groups. So the food groups being your grains, fruits, vegetables, protein. That can be meat. That can be meat alternative if you're vegetarian. Fats and dairy, of course. As a female, you guys are at a higher risk of osteoporosis, especially if you have a kid, because you have to make an entirely new skeleton from scratch, and that normally comes out of your bones. And also I find that a lot of times the way that the media kind of targets women is to stay away from dairy, stay away from milk and cheese and stuff like that. It's either because it's fattening, or you'll see some alternative health practitioners say like, oh, milk is bad for you, it's made for baby cows, you shouldn't have milk.
More or less.
That looks good. Alright, let's just pile on the cheese then. So just however much you like. Cheese is one of those things that's it's easy to eat a lot of. So, you can eat a lower fat cheese if you like a lot of it, or you can just have it sometimes, but it is a very dense source of calcium. And sometimes people tell me, well, I had pizza with a spinach on it, and that's good, that's better, that's moving in the right direction, but that doesn't absolve you from eating some vegetables earlier in the day, or putting a piece of lettuce on your hamburger or a slice of tomato on your sandwich. Okay, it's better than nothing. Okay, and you can't be perfectionist. You can't be all or nothing about everything. But you gotta get real with actually how much vegetables you eat. Most people need at least 3 cups of raw vegetables per day, starting off raw. You can cook it, but for example, if I were to measure a cooked onion in a cup, that would actually probably be 2 cups of a regular onion, because of the moisture that cooks off and all that sort of stuff too. Cut up a white one too. So anyways, coming back to protein. Protein is the most satiating of the macronutrients. If you've ever eaten a bowl of cereal before, when you normally get hungry, an hour and a half later, right? And what happens when you eat that farmer's breakfast? We get, your eggs, bacon, ham, all that stuff. You're normally full till 1 o'clock. That's the power of protein. There are 2 things that help keep us full. There is a physiological response and there's a psychological response. Okay, so physiological response meaning in the body, hormonal changes, chemicals, those sorts of things. You have signals in your body that tell you if you're full or if you're hungry. And so some of these signals are things like leptin, ghrelin, insulin, things that are released from eating certain foods. And protein has kind of a favorable response in keeping things kind of nice and smoothed out over the course of time. Something that is also you should consider is that there is a psychological hunger that affects people too. So who knows the difference between being psychologically hungry and actually hungry? Want to take a stab at some of the symptom differences? So if you're actually hungry, you're gonna experience some of the things that come along with not eating for a while, such as lightheadedness, fatigue, and actually feeling hunger pangs. Okay, so that could be something that comes with hunger, or just a really big drop in energy. Usually, you'll notice this for something if you're like exercising or something like that. Okay, a psychological hunger is where you feel hungry, but maybe you just ate. Okay, so some people get hungry even though they just ate, or it could be kind of like a social setting. So have you ever been just like sitting by yourself and like, you know, your husband or boyfriend like walks by with like a big piece of pizza, or like somebody from in the office like gets some like hot food or hamburger meat or something like that, and then all of a sudden you become hungry? It's like, really at that point in time, did you just all of a sudden run out of blood glucose, or do you think it was something else that made you hungry? So we have to pay attention to a psychological hunger as well. So let's see how we're going to do this.
So what are you making? What's this one again?
This is a vegetarian chili.
Oh.
So let's show hot beans, we got the white beans, and we got navy beans.
I'll have to tell you how to do this.
Of soy, just like anything, you have in moderation. Okay, so if you want to have it for, you know, lunch, but I want to eat it, you know, necessarily all the time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's not based on the fact that soy is harmful for you. It's that you need to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables and different meats, those sorts of things anyway. You know, just like I wouldn't say to somebody, the only form of carbohydrate you should get is bread. You know, the only form of vegetable you should get is green vegetables. So soy is high in protein, it's got fiber in it, it's got minerals, it's got phytonutrients, it's got a lot of good things in it. And you can eat it just fine. When you fill up your plate, you fill up your plate. So if you like to do that, if rather than put another piece of pizza on, you put salad on your plate, you're cutting calories, but you don't feel like you're eating any less.
Wait, say that again?
Like most people will eat what's in front of them. I mean, this has been researched many times.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes you'll fill up to whatever container you have. They've done this in studies where they, you know, send people to buffets and they give some people a small plate, some people a bigger plate. You can guess. It doesn't matter. If you have a bigger plate, you'll put more food on it. And if you have more food in front of you, you'll typically eat it. Your stomach only has 3 settings. I'm hungry, I could eat more, or I'm stuffed. There's no I'm full. Okay? It's just you eat and eat and eat until you hate yourself. No, I'm just kidding. You just eat until you're really full. You know, you normally don't realize it until you're like, ugh, especially if, you know, the food is really good or abundant in front of you or something like that. Okay, so you make 200 decisions based on food every single day. It may not feel like it, but you actually do. And how much you eat, how often you eat, what you want to eat, choices. Anytime you walk past something, you have to decide whether or not you would eat it or not, which this can be a really big problem for teachers, secretaries, people who work in an office-type setting, because usually everybody has some sort of food out, or, you know, people use food as a gift, so it's, you know, usually all out in front of you. So, the soup bowl experiment. So what they did was they attached a bowl to a table, and they secretly put a hot pipeline of soup underneath it, so that as they ate, it would drizzle in more and more soup. And
yeah, I know. I was like, oh my gosh. It's a very the psychological effects. Right? Just kidding.
Well,
I don't understand. I always wish for
So I'm going to assume that the results were that people just kept eating and kept eating.
They kept eating until they got stuffed. Cool. If you want to just throw that in the pan with some olive oil, I'm just going to put it down a little bit. Good to go. Yeah, quite fascinating. They all ate as much as they possibly could, like sometimes 2-3 times more soup than other people would. And only one person found out about it underneath because they had dropped a fork and gone underneath the table and they freaked out. Obviously, you would assume they're like poisoning you or something to that effect.
But really, they didn't stop because they were like, "Oh, I'm done." They stopped because they saw that it was extra important to their.
No, they only stopped when they got stuffed.
Okay.
Like they physically cannot eat anymore. I mean, eventually we'll hit that point.
Like this ahead, they're a little, a little more fancier, right? But I'll take like an entire pack of chicken breasts, like just one of those. Just dump the whole thing in the slow cooker on Sunday. I'll cook it up, I'll shred it up. Now I have chicken to go on my sandwiches. Now I have chicken to go inside of quesadillas, which are other things that are easy to make. I can make those really quick pizzas, do like a barbecue chicken. I can do it like a chicken salad sandwich. And just get something that's versatile, like a chicken or a ground beef, and just cook a bunch up. And just use it throughout the week, like taco salads, whatever your heart desires.
Drinking, for having dessert, and for pet food.
Well, talking about philosophies, I don't really believe there is such thing as a good or a bad food. All foods should fit into a healthy diet. There's sometimes foods and there's all the times foods. And whatever you want to fit in your personal preference is up to you.